Hey yo, what it do? Welcome back to the Axis of Combat podcast, episode 52. And we are going to be breaking down UFC Vegas 91. It's been 2 weeks, short little break. We're back. I'm one of your co-hosts, Ray Boogie, Rayo from the Ayo, my co-host.
Hugo the boss, Hugo got next. You already know. And before we get into any of that business, you guys already know the routine. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying these visuals right now, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. And like my brother said, it's been a long 2 weeks. There have been a ton of fights that happened over the last 2 weeks. So we're not going to go into the recap today because there's just way too much to recap, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Follow us on all of our social media platforms. You guys will see how we did there. But, you know, to make a long story short, we essentially rinsed in PFL, broke even in the UFC, got rinsed in boxing. Ryan Garcia, arguably with the upset of the year.
100%.
And a whole bunch of other crazy fights that happened over the last 2 weeks. Just way too much to cover. And this is, I'll be honest with you guys, on paper, this is a terrible card. Could be a lot of stoppages here. Gonna be very careful with this card because there are a lot of spots that can get you into deep trouble. Want to be sure of where we're going here. We're gonna jump into this. We're gonna make this a very short episode. Because we don't think this warrants a big episode. So here we go. What do we got, bro?
First fight on the prelims, UFC Vegas 91. We got a lightweight bout with Maheshate. Let's say Maheshate. Going one-on-one with Gabriel Benítez. Maheshate 9-3, hailing from China, fighting out of China, 24 years old. Gabriel Benítez, 23-11, fighting out of Mexico, hailing from Mexico, 35 years old. Not the original opponent for Maheshate. He was originally supposed to fight Jubilee. That fight would have looked like a straight rinsing, in my opinion. Jubilee, not that good.
Yeah, Jubilee fights like Jubilee from X-Men.
Well, no, if he fought like Jubilee from X-Men.
Oh, he might have a better chance?
Yeah.
But, oh, my goodness.
Stepping in, we got Gabriel Benítez here. Short and sweet. I think Maheshate's the side. Gabriel on the older side. I think he's going to give Maheshate the fight that he wants. Maheshate, I think he's just younger, faster, and I think he's going to hit harder. My official pick is probably Maheshate KO. Probably in the first or second round. Maheshate, I think he's the side here. Not bettable. I think his money line is a little bit blown up. From a betting perspective, don't know how to attack this in particular. Probably the KO, but that's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think Maheshate, I've been hearing a lot of, he's not, he doesn't have great takedown defense. He got taken down a couple of times 2 fights ago, and he got back, I think it was like 6 times, but he got back up 5. So he's very hard to hold down, very big for the weight class. He likes to throw that lead teep and disguise his knee behind it. I can see that being a very keen weapon of choice for him, especially against a shorter fighter like Benítez. Benítez, his offensive wrestling doesn't really use it. His defensive wrestling is not as good as I think everyone pumps it to be because Jim Miller took him down twice in the last fight, and Jim Miller's wrestling is, I don't want to say shit, but it's not great. What I do worry about is Gabriel Benítez going to the leg kicks here, but I just feel like Maheshate is just a little too big, a little too young, and a little too powerful for this guy, especially at this point. Maybe Gabriel Benítez a few years ago, I would have picked him as a live dog here. But I do like Maheshate to get this done. If this line gets a little more disrespectful, though, than it is, though, because I think they got Gabe at plus 190, he might be worth a dog shot just because I do think he can have his moments on the feet. And Maheshate does have some defensive deficiencies where he backs straight up and kind of leaves his chin up. So he does get caught. I think people are also undervaluing him rather, because he lost to Borishev, who I think is an extremely underrated fighter.
Borishev beats both these guys. I think they ran it back. Borishev beat him again. And Borishev actually went to some grappling in that fight as well.
Correct.
Just to mix it up and show his level, show him leveling up in that fight as well,
Correct. And I think Maheshate was a little surprised by that, which is why he kind of, had some of his lapses there. But I think Borishev is underrated as shit. And Maheshate was actually able to land cleanly on him a couple of times. So I'm going to go with Maheshate here. How? It might be a decision because Gabe is a somewhat durable, but I'm going to lean more to knockout because Gabe is a little older. So Maheshate knockout.
Next fight on the prelims, UFC Vegas 91, women's flyweight. We got the returning Ivana Petrović going one-on-one with the Dragon Girl, Liang. Petrović, 6-1, fighting out of Croatia, hailing from Norway, 29 years old. Liang, fighting out of China, hailing from China, 19-7 overall, 27 years old. Low-level fight.
Very.
To be honest.
Horrible fighter.
Last time we seen Petrović, it was against Luana Carolina. And to be honest, I think Luana Carolina is not that good either, but she's a little underrated. I think she's better than a lot of people like to give her credit for.
Agreed.
Liang, moving up in weight. She kind of got she had a little bit of success against Aldridge, but again, ultimately lost that fight. Her win condition is literally first round and first round sub. If you extend her, she's pretty much cooked. Is Petrović going to get the finish here? I'm not too sure. I'm going to lean Petrović for the win, probably by decision. She should finish Liang, but I don't know. This fight's a little scary. And from a betting perspective, I might stay away from it, but Petrović is the side for me.
I take a stab at Petrović round 2 because Petrović, not the biggest puncher. Liang's going to be very dangerous in the first round for about 2 minutes and 39 seconds, and then she's going to fall off a cliff. So she might get. I would say first round for Petrović if I could trust Petrovic's punching power to kind of get her out of there, especially with doing some mean ground and pound. I think Petrović is super overblown. I don't think she's good. I'm gonna be frank with you. Liang, I think, is decent with her striking. The problem is her striking defense is horrid, and her cardio is horrid. Even with the move up to flyweight, I think she's still gonna have some issues. However, I do like JJ Aldridge a little better. Got her out in the second round. Carnelossi got her out in the second round. I think those girls are both more dangerous than Petrović at this point in time, and Petrović is the younger fighter. But so they did it in round 2. I'm gonna let Petrović round 2 stoppage here, just because Liang's cardio is so bad that she's gonna be a shell of herself by the second round.
I do think she's a little underrated, though. I think, in terms of like her win condition, like I said, first maybe round and a half, to be honest. I think she does hit hard, and I think she can take her down and have success in the beginning, but it's not Liang at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's the ultimate fade.
Next fight on the card, and this is at men's lightweight. We got the debuting James Llontop, a.k.a. Goku, going one-on-one with Taco.
How dare he?
Chris Padilla. These nicknames are crazy. Who got Goku fighting a Taco?
Goku's right behind you, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
Goku.
That's the Goku I know.
This is the Peruvian Goku.
Oh, God.
14-2 overall, fighting out of Peru, hailing from Peru, 24 years old. Chris Padilla, Taco, 13-6, fighting out of Gardena, California, 28 years old. Not Llontop's, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Llontop? Llontop. I think it's Llontop. Not his original opponent. He was scheduled to fight Lando Venata originally.
That's a barn burner, man.
He pulled out. Gabe Green was also scheduled to fight Llontop. He pulled out. So I don't think Padilla is that good. They kind of just pulled him out of nowhere. He got a decent win his last fight against a guy who used to be in the UFC. That was his way in. You got to take the way in when you get the way in. I'm gonna lean Llontop here. I think Llontop's got a kickboxing background, if I'm not mistaken. I think he should be able to do what he needs to do here, but I think this fight probably goes the distance. If I'm not, if I have to really think about it, I'm leaning Llontop here. Not with the most confidence. Padilla is one of those guys that you don't really look good against, but he's a journeyman at the end of the day. So he's gonna probably put Llontop through some what do you call that?
Lessons.
Maybe some lessons, He'll extend them. We get a good look at both these guys, but I'm gonna lean the guy who I don't think is the journeyman for the win.
Yeah, tacos and Peruvian Goku. There's some real South American shit going on here. That's one. 2, Padilla. I think this line is a little grossly disrespectful, in my opinion, for a couple of reasons. Llontop should be the rightful favorite, so I'm not going to say he's not the rightful favorite. He throws a lot of volume. He's fought at welterweight and had success at welterweight against grapplers and just bigger opponents like Oliveira, who is humongous next to him. But what I will say is that I think Llontop does get hit. Llontop is susceptible to takedowns, even though I've been seeing that people are saying his takedown defense is decent, but if you look at it, he does get taken down in a lot of his fights, and then his get-up game is not that impressive. Like, he kind of stands, gets on all fours, gets straight up, which is not good against a good grappler. With all that said, I don't think Chris Padilla is the one to expose him. I think Padilla can do a lot of cage pushing, can do a lot of things to disrupt Llontop's pressure and volume. But with that said, I still think Llontop's going to be able to have his moments in this fight, possibly even get Padilla out of there. But I'm not sure about that because Padilla is a vet, has fought the better brand of competition, has already fought Gabe Green, lost that fight ironically because that was one of Llontop's scheduled replacement opponents. But I still think that, like, if you look at the step up in competition and then the step up in weight classes, the only one who's had success here is Llontop. Padilla's always fallen short of that step up in competition and that step up in weight if need be. So Llontop's aside here.
Next up on the prelims, we got a fight at women's strawweight, and we got the returning Ketlen Souza going one-on-one with Marnic, the sawed-off savage man. Hard-ass nickname, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they call her sawed-off because she's if you saw off a shotgun, the shotgun's smaller, and she is tiny. She's like 5 foot tall. She should be fighting at atom weight.
Souza, I apologize. 13-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 28 years old. Mann, fighting out of Montana, 6-2 overall. How old is she? 31 years old. Another underwhelming strawweight fight here for the women. Not too excited about this fight. Listen, I think Souza is okay, but the problem is she really hasn't been able to show anything off. Her last fight was against a girl we're going to be talking about later, Karine Silva, where she ended up getting Z-locked on the ground. And I know a lot of people online were like, they initially ruled that an injury because they didn't know what kind of hold that was. They never seen it before. And, if you follow Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, especially the leg lockers, you know that it was a legit submission.
It's nasty.
Haven't heard about her recovery or anything like that. Don't know if she needed surgery or so that's a little, questionable on her side. Mann, listen, no disrespect to the girl, but she's super short. And one thing I'll give her, she's tough. She's a tough girl. I think I'm going to lean Souza here. What I probably like more from a betting perspective is probably this fight goes the distance. I like the overs. But I'm going to lean Souza here only because I don't think Mann is that good. Not to disrespect her or anything. I think if she ends up on top, she can probably do some damage. I just don't know how she gets the fight there because I think Souza, as lukewarm as I am on her, I think she's probably the better fighter in this fight. So Souza for me, probably by decision.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. And I just think Mann doesn't have the physical attributes to get this fight to the floor, to be frank with you. And she's lost to just mid-tier fighters. Like, she got knocked out by Bruno Brazil. And, Bruno Brazil, that loss has not aged well.
No.
It's not at this level. She also took the fight on short notice against that killer who should have gotten the Contender Series, the Contender Series contract. That girl is a beast. And she was tough. I think she won all 3 rounds with her, but that girl is not notoriously a finisher either. So Mann, tough, just does not have the physical attributes for me to be on her side here. So I'm going to go Ketlen Souza as well.
Next up on the prelims for UFC Vegas 91 at heavyweight, we got Lord Kong.
Horrible fight.
The boy, Don'Tale Mayes.
Fuck this fight.
Going one-on-one with Bigfoot, Caio Machado.
I like Kyle, so I'm not going to hit him with the horrible fighter thing.
Don'Tale Mayes, 10-6 overall, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, 32 years old. Caio Machado, 8-2-1, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 29 years old. Listen, don't tell Don'Tale. I've learned that the hard way. I picked him to beat Hamdi a while back. Hamdi, and he had moments in that fight, but
he could have finished him.
Hamdi did what he needed to do. I mean, Hamdi did pop afterwards, but
doesn't matter.
Listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, in my opinion. Dontel Mays, listen, Snoop's bodyguard, former bodyguard, John Jones's punching bag. He's just not good. I think he has the potential to win this fight
if he wrestles.
You
gotta pray for him to wrestle.
I do not trust this man at all. I think Caio Machado is the side here. I know Machado hasn't really looked too hot either. I mean, his Contender Series fight was literally against the bum. And then I think his last fight was against Parkin. Which he looked decent, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think Machado's got volume on his side. I think he's going to throw more. I think he's a little harder to hit than people give him credit for. I'm leaning Machado here to get the win. Unless Mays turns into D1 Mays, I'm staying away from anything. Don't tail, Dontel. I've learned that the hard way. Machado's the side. I don't know how this fight's going to finish, though.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. What I will say is, too, that Caio Machado did have some moments on the floor where he was able to out-scramble Mick Parkin. The thing is, Dontel's such a big dude. So if he gets on top of him, I don't know if he's going to have that same success out scrambling him.
I mean, he's 6'6".
He's humongous. Yeah, like, that's the only good... It's crazy. All those physical attributes can't do shit.
It's unfortunate, because if you ask me, I think he's probably the more athletic guy, too.
No question. He can't knock air out of a bag. Can't knock air out of a bag.
No, you can't.
Come on, man. I mean, you're knocking out Andre Arlovski? Sure, man. I'm pretty sure if I got a clean punch at Andre Arlovski right now, like if he just let me get a clean shot at him, I could take him.
You think so?
I think so. I think you could, too.
If he gave me one free shot, I think I could smoke him down the middle, maybe.
Come on, bro. Yeah, I don't know.
I hope so.
It's a professional fighter, but I was being real with you. But
I mean, and Arlovski's the legend. That's not disrespect.
Yeah, let me, listen, this is about Dontel. You know what I'm saying?
Dontel. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck this guy, man. I swear. The thing is, I want to fade him, but I can't even fade him correctly because I bet Arlovski against him and he fucking took my money. So am I making the same mistake here? I don't know. This fight's like low-key a big fucking stay away. But I'm probably gonna find some way to bet it just because I don't like this guy. I think this guy is fucking horrible.
Don't make it personal, my brother. Don't make it personal.
It's crazy. But I feel like there's value there because Machado, now to get more into the technical aspect to end this, did have moments against Mick Parkin, who I think Mick Parkin is a decent lower level heavyweight, mid to lower level heavyweight. Did have his moments there, just made some bad fight IQ decisions, but I just feel like if this fight gets into scrambles and cardio, Chow's going to bury him, in my opinion. So lean is definitely Chow. Don't know how I'm going to bet it.
Next fight on the prelims, UFC Vegas 91. At lightweight, we got Austen Thud Hubbard going one-on-one with the Mad Dog, Michael Figlak. Hubbard, 15-7, fighting out of Denver, Colorado, 32 years old. Figlak, 8-1. Fighting out of England, hailing from Poland, 27 years old. This is probably one of the closer fights on this card. Still a little bit of, I'm not going to say it's a low-level fight. It's definitely a mid-level fight. I'm going to throw this one to you real quick because I kind of want to hear what you're thinking on this fight. I don't have a good read. I kind of want to lean Figlak here, low-key, but what do you think?
Figlak should be the lean here. He is the rightful favorite in my opinion because Hubbard, we kind of know what his ceiling is. With that said, Figlak did come into his UFC debut, lose to Ziem. No shame in that. I think Ziem is probably one of the brighter prospects in this weight class.
Yeah.
Figlak is like a cage warrior standout. I just don't trust in this fight his takedown defense. I think Austen does have a path to victory here where he can control him with the wrestling. Will I bet Austen? Not sure. But I think Figlak's better everywhere else. I think he's a better striker. I think he's more aggressive. I think he's going to win minutes. I think he's going to do a lot of good things. That one aspect of the wrestling, I'm not sure where I stand with it at this point in time. I think Austen can control him though.
Yeah, for me, it's like I think Figlak probably just had one of those
UFC jitter situations.
Yeah, in his debut. I think Ziem probably beats both these guys in my opinion.
I agree.
So it's one of these situations in my opinion where I think Figlak is better than what I think he's shown. And at the same time, I like Austen Hubbard, but there's a reason why they kind of let him go in the first place. And then he kind of got signed back on an L. against against Hollabog, and I get it. He's a dog. He's kind of a fun guy to watch, but at the same time, it's like
we know his ceiling.
We know what he is. Hubbard don't really finish anybody, so I don't think he's really in danger against Figlak. I think Figlak has probably got more of the finishing upside, in my opinion. That's why I'm kind of leaning Figlak here. Nothing against Hubbard, but it's like he could make this a fight. But from a betting perspective, I'm probably not going to touch it. But I think Figlak is probably the side for me.
Agreed.
Next up on the prelims here, we got at bantamweight, men's bantamweight, we got the legend, one of the few WEC guys left, Rani Yahya, going 1-on-1 with La Mangosta, Victor Henry. Yahya.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Hit it again.
Yeah.
28-11-1. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 39 years old, going against Victor Henry, 23-6 overall. Fighting out of Los Angeles, California, 36 years old. I feel like I said 36. I think 36 and 23-6. I just got like a dyslexic there.
It's all good.
Listen, Victor Henry is a large favorite here. And I think if you're asking me, I think probably rightfully so. I think Victor Henry is the side here. Listen, no disrespect against Yahya, but I mean, he's a specialist. He likes to, you know what he wants to do. He wants to get you on the ground and try to sub you out. Victor Henry, I think, is just, what I'm afraid of is that I think Victor Henry might play around with him on the ground, but I think Victor Henry is good enough to kind of like mitigate the grappling and the submission stuff. On the stand-up, I think Victor Henry 100% better on the feet. Hits hard, will throw volume. I think if Victor Henry doesn't get a finish here, it might be slightly disappointing in my opinion. I think Victor Henry probably should win. I think it should be inside the distance. But I'm going to lean Victor Henry by decision. But I'm not too confident in that decision, if I'm being completely honest. Nothing against Yahya, but Victor Henry, I think he's just that guy. In this fight in particular.
Agreed. And the reason being, I don't know if anyone should be confident in the decision play for a lot of reasons. I'm not even confident in the finish plays, which I'm going to get into now. Rani Yahya, not a great chin. Older now, very withered vet. And on top of that, too, his last win was 4 years ago.
It's been a long time.
Everyone that he's beaten is not in the UFC anymore.
Yeah.
So, they talk about his black belt and, him being a super grappler. Dude, 2003 ADCC, that was over 20 years ago. It's nuts. It's crazy he's still around, but I just don't like this fight for him because it's a guy, I don't like any fight for him at this point. I think he should retire. But if you're asking me, he's going to try and wrestle into Henry probably, and he's going to gas, and he's going to get tired, and he's probably going to get finished in the second round here, in my opinion. The only reason it might not get finished is because he'll probably just play off his back like Oliveira does after he takes 1 or 2 shots. But I can see Victor Henry just moshing on him with the against the cage if he hurts him once and just putting it all together. But Victor Henry, not the most prolific finisher. That's why this fight is a little difficult to bet on. But we're going to figure it out as the week goes on. But Victor Henry is most rightly to decide on 100% here. So
next fight. We have, and I mean, they have this as, I think this is the prelim main event. I don't think this is the, because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who knows? Maybe this kicks off the main card. But we got Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, going against the Doctor. That's a hard ass nickname, low key. Especially his name is Uros Medic. Yeah. But in American, not American, but. It reads like medic. So, and this is a welterweight bout, 170. Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, 33-15-1, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, 40 years old. The Doctor, Medic, 9-2, fighting out of Alaska, but hailing from Serbia, 31 years old. If this was a couple years ago, this probably be in my opinion, probably a harder fight to pick. I'm leaning Medic here. I think Medic, ever since he's moved up to 170. Like usually when you move up in weight, it doesn't really pan out that well. But he's young enough. Usually it's the older fighters that try to move up and kind of get washed up. He's young. And ever since he's moved up, I think it's improved his chin low key. And I think it's improved his cardio a bit, in my opinion, as well. I think Medic, he's the better striker. I think he's going to have the faster hands. I think he hits hard. I think his grappling is, his wrestling defense is underrated. He preferably doesn't want this fight on the ground. I don't think Tim Means is going to take him to the ground because Tim Means is not the kind of guy that wants to fight on the ground either. So for the most part, I kind of see this fight taking place in the stand-up. And if you're asking me, I think Medic with a head kick KO is probably possible here. I'm picking Medic here. I'm picking Medic by a KO. I'm not going to rule out sub. Maybe inside the distance is probably a better play just to keep yourself safe. But unless Tim Means is able to get this to the fight to the ground, which I don't think he will, and get him by sub, which is the only way Medic is lost, I'm going to lean the younger, faster, more dynamic guy, in my opinion, in Medic.
Agreed. I think it's time for the dirty bird to get taken to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, get cleaned up a little bit, you know?
He's a damn
I was going to
dirty
say
bird.
medic and doctor, you know, anything medical, the dirty bird's going to go there to get some assistance. You know what I'm saying? So I agree. 5 years ago, this fight is much more competitive, in my opinion. People are overvaluing, I feel, the win that Tim Means has recently over Andre Fiallo, who has like the worst striking defense ever in welterweight, to be frank. He was super hot at one point, and that guy just got sunk down the drain. Tim Means is not going to wrestle him. He's more of an opportunistic grappler where you have to hope if he's going to get like a standing guillotine on Medic, which I don't see happening. I like violence in this fight because Medic just never seen the judges. But with that said, I also like Medic to stop him probably in the first or second round. He's more dynamic. I think he's younger. He's a little more durable. He did get dropped against Sullinsberger and hurt, but I think like you said, the weight cut, him not making weight and moving up is helping him and helping his durability. I just think Tim's durability is gone. I think he's 40 years old, and I think it might be time for him to start reconsidering whether or not he should be fighting. I think this line's a little crazy, but I understand it because minus 305, you're expecting the guy to finish. I do expect Medic to finish this fight within the distance. Medic is the side. Quarter Medics for 10 means. I think it's a body bag.
Next fight on the main card for UFC Vegas 91, we have a fight at men's featherweight. And we got JSP, Jonathan Pearce, going one-on-one with the silent assassin, David Onama. Pearce, 14-5 overall, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, 31 years old. Onama, 11-2 overall, fighting out of Kansas City, Missouri, but hailing from Uganda, 29 years old. I'm going to throw this one to you real quick because I'm kind of interested to hear what you have, what your takes are for this fight.
Jonathan Pearce, I think he's the rightful favorite here, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Onama can't catch this guy. I just think this fight's a little bad timing for Onama. To be frank, I think Pearce is going to be able to wrestle him down, put him on his back, make him work. I thought maybe cardio might be an issue with him, but he has had instances where his cardio has looked great, like against Darren Elkins, even though Darren Elkins, I think, another guy who's not that great, great defensively as with his takedowns, and is a little older and just obviously crazy shot worn. David Onama at that point has a lot of power, can catch anybody that's, trying to wrestle into him. Does have okay takedown defense for about a round and a half. I just think Jonathan Pearce over the time, as this time goes on, it's going to favor him. I think Onama, if you want to bet him early. If you want to bet Pearce, bet him second to third round to probably get a stoppage here. Because I think Onama's cardio is not that great.
Yeah, what I think, and my general consensus on this fight is that I think Pearce is the side, and I think Pearce probably by decision is probably the way to go here. But I think David Onama is probably more athletic. He's definitely the better striker. And Pearce, not that good in the stand-up. You can argue Pearce probably should have won that fight against Joannis and Brito. I think if they ran it back again, I think he beats Brito. But, Burrito's burrito. Onama, for the most part, that Langwear fight kind of showed that maybe his cardio isn't the best. But I think that's if you put a pace on him. I think Pearce is the right guy to probably put the pace on him here. But Onama isn't low. He ain't no rookie on the ground. I think his grappling is a little underrated. I do lean overs here. I do think the finishing upside is on the Onama side. And I do think he's a bit of a live dog. I think this is probably one of the better fights on this card. And thank God it's on the main card here. But I think you're right. I think probably Pearce is probably the side here. But I'm going back and forth on this one.
Yeah, I will disagree with you on the point that I think if he runs it back with Brito, that he beats Brito. I think Brito's just underrated. And I think Brito is a fucking hammer. But I do understand why people may feel that way. Jonathan Pearce is too one-dimensional for me. And I agree with you. I think Onama's underrated on the floor. I do. I think his takedown defense is not horrid, at least for the first round and a half. And then after that, I just think this is a bad matchup for him. Maybe 2 years from now, I think I would favor Onama. From now, in the future, I just think it's a bad matchup for him right now. So, Jonathan Pearce.
Next fight on the main card at heavyweight. We got the debuting. I don't even know how you say this guy's name. Jhonata Diniz?
Yep. Just say Diniz.
Or Jhonata Diniz.
Yep.
Go on one-on-one with Austen Lane.
Horrible.
Diniz, perfect. 6-0. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. Austen Lane, 12-4 overall. Fighting out of Jacksonville, Florida, 36 years old. Another low-level heavyweight fight here. I'm going to lean Diniz. I just think his background in kickboxing is way better than Austen Lane's background in football.
Super necessary.
Austen Lane, listen, he's athletic. If you're going to ask me who I think the more athletic guy is, I think Austen Lane is. But these football guys outside of who's the guy who just fought what's his I can't remember his name.
Eric Anders.
Outside of Eric Anders, these football guys really haven't panned out. And even Eric Anders is borderline he's good.
Might be cuttable though.
His last fight was pink slip. Was a pink slip fight in my opinion.
Gave Jamie Pickett the pink slip. He retired, but he was gonna lose his job anyway.
He retired.
Yeah, get finished.
I think Diniz is the side here. Austen Lane, if I knew he would go to the grappling here, that's probably his only path to victory. But he's never really attempted a takedown at least in his UFC career. I don't think he's ever attempted a takedown ever. But if he goes to the grappling here, he's got the edge. I don't think he will. I think he's a little chinny. He got slept by Justin Tafa, the boy. You reach, I teach. And I think Diniz is going to give him another lesson, in my opinion. Diniz is the side, probably by KO. That's the pick. Not sure how I'm going to bet it, if I'm going to bet it.
Yeah, I'll say first round knockout. And Diniz is way more of a high level striker than this guy. He actually went to decision in one of his early fights with Rico Verhoeven, who is one of the best heavyweight kickboxers on the planet right now. So I like Diniz in this fight. I think he's going to get it done early. Austen Lane, raw on the feet. His wrestling's not that good. His striking is not that good. He's just big and athletic. But that shit's not going to win you a fight.
Maybe he NFL tackles him,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised more NFL guys are not going to the wrestling, because you can shoot a blast double from far out, but you're so big and strong, get a guy down.
Exactly.
I don't get it. Don't Greg Hardy's, the Austen Lanes, stay in your lane. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane and go into fucking XFL or UFL, whatever the fuck it is right now. So and the thing is, he's not really improving. He just got big power, but he has to connect, and good luck connecting on this guy. He's going to be way better than you on the feet. So Diniz by knockout, probably first round.
Next fight on the card at women's flyweight, and this is currently constituted as the featured bout on the main card for UFC Vegas 91.
Should be the co-main.
To be honest. It's actually a very good fight. We got Karine Silva, the killer, going one-on-one with the queen of violence herself, Ariana Lipski.
The
resurging queen. Karine Silva, 17-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 30 years old. Lipski, 17-8 overall, hailing from Brazil, fighting out of Brazil, 30 years old. Very good fight. I think if this fight was a couple of years ago,
Karine would be like a minus 1,000.
she'd probably be minus a lot.
Correct.
But to Lipsky's credit, I know she came in like with high expectations, kind of, slow start. She came in like a flat tire. But since then, has rounded out, has had a bit of a resurgence here.
Went to ATT.
Improved her wrestling takedown defense and started really feeling herself into striking like she was when I think she used to fight for KSW, right?
Correct.
That being said, I mean, Karine, savage. She's a savage girl. Powerful hands. I think her striking maybe is a little bit overrated. I think Ariane Lipsky's is probably going to be the cleaner striker for sure. But I think if this fight gets to the ground, that's where Silva really thrives, in my opinion. I think she's a little underrated on the ground. I think that's where she kind of could beat Lipsky here. I'm leaning violence. I'm leaning unders. I'm leaning Karine. Karine opened up as a dog, missed that line completely. She's now the favorite in this fight. This could be dog or pass, only because I think how well-rounded and how much more improved Lipsky has looked lately. But that being said, I do like this fight not to go the distance. I am going to slightly lean Silva here as the new favorite. What about you?
I agree with you. I've been back and forth on this fight. If this line gets disrespectful, I will play Ariana because I do think she poses some threats off of her back. She's been throwing up triangles now. She's active off her back now since going to ATT. Yeah, she's really good. She actually fought Melissa Gatto, who I think has a lot of the same attributes as Karine Silva, to a split decision. You could argue Gatto won that fight. That's exactly why. But I think Karine is a step up from Gatto, and I think Karine is a little more aggressive than Gatto. So I'm going to lean Karine here. She might get a money line play for me, but if you want the real, I think she's going to be able to take Ariana down and probably sub her. There's a good chance for that.
You know what I think? I think this is probably a good live entry spot in terms of, because I think Karine probably wins the first round. But if Lipsky is able to really get her game going, I do question Silva's cardio just a bit.
I agree.
Just a bit.
I agree 100%.
And like I said, these fights start standing. And like I don't think Silva's, like, she hits hard. And again, Lipsky's chin isn't the best. But if Lipsky fights a smart game plan, like kind of like she did against Gatto here, I think she could probably pick her apart as the fight gets drawn out.
Correct.
So if you like the Silva side, probably early. If you like the Lipsky side, late. Probably wait until after the first round if you really like her. I do still think the unders hit here though, but yeah.
Agreed.
UFC Vegas 91 co-main event at men's lightweight. This is lightweight? This is wrong. This is light heavyweight, right?
Yes.
And listen, we've seen this fight before. This is the third time they're fighting. Ryan Spann, Lion, Anthony Hart-Smith. Wait, why are you laughing? Oh, it's not Anthony Smith. Oh, it's actually Bogdan Guskov, the evil twin brother. Nosferatu himself here. We got Bogdan Guskov. Man, I thought it was Lion Anthony Smith, man. It's Lionheart. They got me.
Yeah, it's Lion, all right.
Yeah. He's lying. They've been capping right here. So I'll start with the Ryan Spann side. Ryan Spann, 21-9, fighting out of Texas, 32 years old. Guskov, don't know what the hell his nickname says or means. I'm going to skip it. I'm not going to disrespect. 15-3 overall. Fighting out of Russia, hailing from Uzbekistan, 31 years old. Why this fight is the co-main event, don't know. I think, listen, Ryan Spann. We'll start on the Ryan Spann side here. I think Ryan Spann has the tools to win this fight. Will Ryan Spann win this fight? I got a weird feeling I don't think he will. If you're asking me, I think the unders hit here. I don't think this fight goes the distance. And even though Ryan Spann is really good at grappling, well, not good at grappling, but like he's got a sick guillotine, right? But I think this fight, for the most part, is going to take place standing. I don't know too much about Guskov. There isn't that much tape. I mean, he didn't look too hot against what was his debut against Ozdemir, right?
Yeah, but but
Ozdemir is Ozdemir. You know what I'm saying? And then he was able to pack up his last opponent. I don't recall that guy's name either.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Guskov, if you're asking me who's gonna win in a stand-up fight,
Zach Puga, by the way.
Pauga. Yeah.
Bum.
Listen, this is another one where I think if you gave me one clean shot on Pauga, I think I could do it. I think I could put him out. I think Pauga's a little. Listen, there's a reason why he's not in the UFC anymore. Yeah. Guskov did what he needs to do against Pauga. I'm gonna pick. Is Guskov the dog, by the way?
Yes, heavy dog.
I think I'm gonna go Guskov here for the win. I think Ryan Spann should win this fight. I just don't trust his IQ, and I don't want to say he's got a little bit of that quit in him, but when his plan A don't work,
he panics. Yeah,
he just falls off a cliff mentally, and he just goes into autopilot. And I've been right and wrong about Spann. I can never get this guy right, so I'm just gonna stay off of him. I think Guskov is a live dog in my opinion, and I think Guskov is gonna win and probably by KO.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Except for the pick, I think Ryan Spann. I know he's fighting No Mac from Blade 2, but and you've seen No Mac fucking up Blade, but you know Blade is not going to be in there to help Ryan Spann. So
I mean, maybe he dresses up like Blade. He comes out and then maybe he just throws him off.
Oh my goodness, Ryan Spann should win this fucking fight.
He should.
But if you're picking a side in this fight, you need help. You need 1-800-GAMBLERS. Tune in, call in, do what you got to do. Contact one of us for help, to be frank. I don't think you should be picking a side in this fight. I think you should just pick violence because this fight's not going to go over.
You said 1-800-GAMBLERS, right?
Yeah.
I'm just queuing it up just in case, you know.
No, yeah. Don't bet this fight, please. Like, don't bet a side here. Bet violence. This fight's not going to go over. Ryan Spann has all the capabilities to win this fight, but turned his brain off consistently. Should have beaten Anthony Smith the second fight. Fucking turned his brain off, didn't stop him. Should have beaten a lot of guys. Turned his brain off, didn't stop them, then got stopped, or just didn't fight smart. All the gifts. Just dumb, to be frank with you. Get help if you're going to bet a side in this fight. Bet violence. That's the only way to play this fight. I'm going to parlay the under in this fight with something. And I'm going to probably juice it up to -2 to 2.5 rounds just to cover in case these guys make it extra sloppy. You know, for us. Yeah, it's a terrible fight to bet on. Get help. Don't bet the money lines. Bet violence. That's all you can bet on this fight. That's it. Ryan Spann's a lean. Guskov, if Guskov knocked him out, I would not be surprised. End of story. I'm not going to say he's a live dog because they're both terrible. So, yeah, Ryan Spann's a lean. But violence is a play.
UFC Vegas 91 main event, 5-rounder at flyweight, 2 ranked opponents. We got Matheus Nicolau, Alex Perez, 1-on-1. Nicolau, 19-3-1 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 31 years old. Alex Perez, fighting out of Lemoore, California, 24-8 overall, 32 years old. I think this is going to be a more competitive fight than I think people want to give it credit for. I am going to lean Nicolau. And the reason why I'm going to lean Nicolau here is because he's a bit of a safe fighter.
Yes.
In terms of like, you know, he kind of likes to fight on the outside, pick his shots. He'll come in. I think he's an opportunistic grappler. I think he's got underrated power as well. I think he hits harder than a lot of people like to give him credit for. That being said, I know people kind of dogging out Alex Perez a bit here, but I mean, he didn't look the greatest in his last fight against Makayev. But that being said, he hasn't been in a fight.
He was coming off a long hiatus.
Yeah, like 2 years maybe. I don't remember. It's been a while since
correct
Alex Perez was able to fight. And I know maybe this fight doesn't even happen. Who knows? Alex Perez has got to make weight. I think he will. I think if Alex Perez is able to get his kicking game going,
yes, it could be very interesting.
I think this fight gets really interesting. Because I think he's got better wrestling. I think Alex Perez has got underrated leg kicks. And he's got a decent amount of volume. Again, didn't show it in the Makayev fight. But I think the Makayev fight, he came in there with a game plan where he knew Makayev is going to grapple him.
Correct.
Because that's Makayev's only really path to victory. I think Makayev's stand-up is shit. Just being honest. But I think he looks better in this fight. I think this fight is more competitive than people think. I don't want to say Alex is probably a live dog, but he could be. Depending on how his fight plays out. But I am going to lean Nicolau here for the win. From a betting perspective, don't know how I'm going to approach it. Maybe the overs.
And who knows about that?
And yeah, who knows? Because again, Nicolau underrated power. Perez, if he gets it, he's got leg kick TKOs.
Yeah, he
on
kicks
his resume.
Hard.
He kicks stupid hard. And I don't think Alex Perez is that whack. Like he just doesn't make weight. And
loses to the elite guys in the division.
And he's only lost to the really best of the best in the division. So
outside of Makhachev, but if he was active against Makhachev, I think he beats him.
Yes.
In my opinion. Makhachev is shit. He's shit.
I wouldn't say he's shit, but he's a little hyped. He's a bit of a hype.
He's raw and he's shit.
Can
he's
he get better?
Yeah,
he could.
Sure.
He's still young and he could improve his striking, but
right now he's shit.
That's the only reason he's not fighting Pantoja is because of how bad he looked in the Perez fight.
Correct.
Even though he got the win. Also, side note, this wasn't Nicolau's original opponent.
Correct. I was going to bring that up. Yep.
His original opponent was supposed to be Manel Kopp.
Yes.
And of course, Manel Kopp sometimes just can't get out of his own way either. He's just got the worst luck in terms of matchmaking and fighting and all that other shit.
And injuries.
But yeah, I mean, I said what I need to say about this fight. I'm leaning Nicolau here. What about you?
You hit everything on the head. I agree with Nicolau being the side. But the thing is, too, and I think you had made this point, and it was correct. I'm not even going to go too far into detail with this fight because this fight might be a stay away just in the standpoint that it's going to be a lot more contested, a lot more competitive than people think. And I also think that the value on Perez is not quite there yet for me to play him as a dog.
What's the number, actually?
It's plus 150. I would like him at plus 200.
I think more Nicolau money is going to come in.
Yes. And I'll play Perez at that point. But the only people that have really been able to beat Perez are people that are able to bully him. And Nicolau is not a pressure fighter.
No.
He fights on the outside. And let's not forget the most underlying thing. They talk about Perez's durability. What about Nicolau's durability? He cannot take a shot.
Yeah, I think his chin is a little
too respected.
A little suspect.
Yeah, it's, and
I think it's better than people give it credit for. Because, I mean, one of his KOs is like a head kick. And I like to rule out the head kick joints because, like, a head kick's a fucking head kick. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I mean, his only losses have come but via head kick, right? I don't think he's lost via decision, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree. I think Manel hurt him and Matt Schnell hurt him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In their fight. So, his chin is a little... And he's going to be in there 5 rounds with a guy who I think is relatively underratedly durable. Can throw leg kicks to mitigate his movement. There's a lot of things here to like about Perez as a dog play. There is, but if you look at who he's lost to, it's literally against Pantoja, a bully, a guy who pressures and has good grappling. Davison Figueiredo got caught in the scramble, also took that fight at last minute notice. And Joe Benavidez, who would have been a great flyweight champion had there been no Demetrius Johnson. Let's just keep it 100. So he's only lost to the top tier guys, and then he has a lot of guys pull out at him. A lot of people say it's injury. I think it's because they're afraid of him. I think sometimes that is a lot of what it is too. Like Matt Schnell pulled on him like 8 times here. Like Matt Schnell's afraid of that guy. You know what I'm saying? And Alex Perez was a tough matchup for him. But I do think that there is value somewhat in Alex Perez as a dog here because Nicolau is not a pressure fighter. Good grappler, does a lot of things good. The only thing I don't like is that Alex Perez, outside of the recent Makhachev fight, has been relatively inactive because of injuries and because of people pulling out and canceling the fights, including himself because of injuries. I'm going to lean Nicolau, but if this line gets a little more disrespectful, Perez might be a play. Nicolau's the play. I mean, the lean, Perez might be the bet. Who knows?
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. From top to bottom, we just broke down UFC Vegas 91. Dog shit card on paper. But I think this card has the potential to be kind of exciting. I don't see too many decisions happening on this card. I do see a lot of finishes. I'm just happy to get some UFC back in my life. It's been 2 weeks, 2 long weeks. As much as I like the PFL, I like the UFC. You know what I'm saying? And, as much as I like boxing, I like the UFC. I'm a UFC guy. I'm happy. We're back.
Yep, and what you guys already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Anybody enjoying these visuals right now, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Nice to be back as well, guys. I agree with my brother here. The card's a little scary bet-wise, but it is going to be a relatively exciting card relative to what it is on paper. Please enjoy the fights. Bet responsibly. Tail us, fade us. We don't care what you do, but show us some love if you are tuning in. Love you guys. Happy to be back. There are some more changes coming soon. Holla at you. You'll see them as we go. Love ya. Later.